Today we're gonna be talking about an off-width technique that requires hand stacking and knee locking, and we are starting now. The first question people usually ask themselves is, why the hell would I want to become a caterpillar? You might be just a person that loves climbing mountains, staying with good friends and having an awesome adventure. You might as well be a person that just loves conquering rock towers. In both cases you are following crack systems, and by the nature of the rock, they will lead you to sizes that you never experienced before.
And this is how you can get yourself into doing off-width hand stacks.
Ładne leżenie.
The first time I experienced this size myself was on a crack generator on a film festival in Teplice nad Metui. This is a recording from 2 years ago, and you can see that I'm struggling to get anywhere above the floor level. It looks like I'm doing everything almost by the book. The hand stack seems to be working, the knee lock seems to be working, but there's obviously something wrong with my outer leg. You can easily see from the recording that I'm trying to jam it in the crack, but this doesn't seem to work naturally. Let's have a look at what the experts say on what the positioning of your body and placement of your limbs in a crack should look like.
No a pak jsou širší rozměry, další, kdy už, řekněme, tady fungují dvě žáby, takhle proti sobě. Vždycky ta dvojžába, jako je, že ty dlaně ve chvíli, kdy to je dostatečně široký, tak nejjednodušší je mít dlaně takhle od sebe křížem a za to nějakým způsobem lezete nahoru. Tady v tom rozměru, já mám krásný klouzavý džíny, takže mi to nepůjde, kdybych si je sundal, tak jakmile jste schopný dát koleno do spáry, tak ve chvíli, kdy tam je to koleno takhle akorát, tak si klidně si to vyzkoušejte někde jako nad zemí, jo, kousek. Ve chvíli, kdy se vám to koleno tam podaří dát až po kule, složíte ho vevnitř a takhle vyndáte nohu a opřete si ji o hranu, tak v tom koleni normálně jako můžete vyset, jo. V klouzavých džínách teda jedu. Tohle je prostě široký spáře, klíčová věc. Buď máš tu spodní nohu, jakože že vlastně páčíš takhle, jo, případně takhle, ale jakoby nejefektnější je, kdy vlastně do té spáry strčíš nejdřív patu. Ve chvíli, kdy dokážeš jakoby stát tam obráceně, takhle, jo, tak prostě tam držíš.
Now I get it, and I understand the mistake I was making. It's the usual mistake that climbers do in any type of climbing. You need to focus on your feet rather than on your hands. The hand stack is just a cherry on top. The horsepower is of course your legs. In particular, what you do with your outer leg.
Having the technique dialed in the artificial environment, I encourage you to go and find some similar size on your local crack.
This is me trying to transfer the knowledge from the gym into the natural environment. It might be that you are a lucky person living in Indian Creek, where everything is almost perfectly parallel and the techniques will just work. However, for most of us, everything will be out of place. The crack edges will be uneven, it will be a flared off-width, the size of the crack around your head will be different than the size of the crack around your hips, and the size of the crack around your feet. This particular route I'm trying to lead rope solo has a constriction that is not letting your knee go through. As a result, it requires placing high hand stack, then take everything except for the hand stack out of the crack to be able to slide your leg in just above the constriction.
You have already taken the first step going out of the sandbox into the real world.
After practicing this on a few easier routes and being back in your comfort zone, what's the next milestone? You might just want to go for it and find something really challenging. In this particular instance, my friend is climbing the queen of all off-widths, which is called Údolní on Hláska. This notorious off-width has around 50 vertical meters of what we just discussed.
But a crack like this is not only about hand stacking. Pavel is doing everything, from hand jamming to squeeze chimneying.
Notice that he is applying variations to standard off-width techniques It's usually the only way to climb a demanding route like this one. You can see him knee locking, but on the other hand not using a hand stack, but a regular hand jam. Conversely, when he's unable to lock his knee, he needs to rely on variations for locking his foot in a fist-sized crack. One of the most important things to remember is that you will not be able to do this alone. As you can hear, he has friends encouraging him to move inch by inch up this very demanding route.
Dawaj stary, dawaj, dawaj. Dawaj stary, tak, dobrze, dobrze.
In order to put all the pieces together, you also need to work a bit on your strength and endurance in a regular gym.
In my case, except for tons of core exercises, I was also doing pull-ups on gymnastic rings instead of a regular bar. General idea is that you destabilize your grip because this is a more efficient way of working out. The second thing you might want to consider is doing laps on an overhanging hand crack. This will allow you to build enough endurance in your thumb for making the jams, whether it's for a hand stack or for a regular hand jam.
We don't know for sure, but this technique was apparently discovered in 2 different places in the world. On the 5th of July 1956, Údolní on Hláska, the route that you have seen earlier in this video, has been conquered. For anyone that climbed this route, it is obvious that without hand stacking and knee locking, it is impossible to climb this off-width. Especially ground up, which is the only acceptable style in the cradle of free climbing around Elbe River. Not mentioning the fact that this was for years the easiest and only way to get to the top of the tower. Nowadays, locals set speed record on it, to the best of my knowledge, around 8 minutes. It is a shame that due to the way world was divided after the Second World War, people on both sides of the Iron Curtain did not know about the achievements of one another. In the 70s, Randy Levitt and Tommy Aniro worked on Piazzano overhang in the US. They documented this technique in Mountain magazine printed in 1985, calling it levitation. We had to wait another 40 years for this technique to be properly described in a book. Kent Pease, also known as The Sender, provided us with the luxury of having the Bible for crack climbing. It even includes a how-to section on building your own crack generator, so if you stay with me, then in a moment you will see the one that my friend has built. The reference material mentioned here is linked down below in the description of this video. Feel free to read, watch and comment if you find something intriguing. Remember to subscribe to let me know that you find this content useful.
Now let's recap. Establish a good hand stack, slide your knee in, then bend it and put your foot out of the crack. In order to move up, jam your lower leg with a banana foot. Simultaneously, pull from the hand stack and push from your outer leg. Release the knee lock, move your leg up a bit and then lock the knee again. Remember, the most important thing is the work of your outside leg. Usually people struggle with that because it requires a lot of flexibility in your hips. I can't stress enough how important that is.